Good evening. Tonight, Section 171.031 RSMO requires the board to hold a hearing to discuss and entertain comments from the public regarding opening school more than 10 days prior to the first Monday in September, starting with the 2019-2020 school year. We're talking about that already. Mrs. Bells.
Administration will allow any public comment regarding school starting more than 10 days prior to the first Monday in September at this time.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Keeling makes the motion.
I'll
Have a
second.
second. Ms. Kreider seconds. All in favor, show hands. It's 5-0. Citizens' participation in statements.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, we have no one who has submitted a request to present as per Board Policy BDDH.
Written communications.
We have no written communications either.
Citizens update. Military.
Do I just talk now?
Yeah.
USAG Fort Leonard Wood welcomes the new Director for Family Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, Mr. William Wessel. Mr. Wessel will arrive for December. He's coming from Minot, North Dakota. For December, 5:30 Christmas tree lighting adjacent to Misco Plaza will take place. 8 December at 8 o'clock, Christmas 5K, the fun run at Gerlach Field. On 8 December at 10 o'clock, the Army-Navy annual flag football game will take place, also on Gerlach Field. 13 December at 4:30, the grand opening of the new Ozark Tavern, food and beverage restaurant at building 492. That's adjacent next to the commissary. That's all I have. Thank you.
Introductions.
Yes, this is Bobby Peterson. Bobby is actually our school liaison officer on Fort Leonard Wood. We appreciate all that she does for us. We're in between right now a board liaison, so she was kind of pinch hitting tonight. I think she got a late call, so we appreciate you doing that.
Good.
It's always fun to come talk to all your friends here, isn't it?
Thank you. District announcements, Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, we have quite a crew with us here this evening. Tonight we have two buildings on post schools to recognize: Pick Educational and Volunteer Facility and Partridge Elementary, which is our largest K-5 building on post. I want to thank you all for being here this evening. Look forward to hearing from all of you on the CTA Spotlight on Education, and it looks like we're here in full force, but they really went to the back of the room. Mrs. Vernon, is that, yeah. Hi, guys. You good back there? See, okay, good. All right. So we will celebrate being awarded a $1.25 million grant from the Department of Defense Educational Activity at 9 a.m. Friday, November 30th at Freedom Elementary. This grant includes funds for Project Edge, STEM-focused classrooms, virtual learning, personalized learning systems, robotics, and a robotics and coding club. I'd also like to invite the public to several upcoming fine arts performances. On December 7th and 8th, Waynesville High School students will direct and perform one-act plays. On December the 10th, our high school choir will perform a concert. And then on December 12th, the middle school choir will host its conference. And on December the 13th, the band will hold its holiday concert. Details will be forthcoming in the upcoming Eye in the Tiger, which will be delivered to all patrons during the last week of November. There will be no school on Wednesday, November 21st through Friday, November 23rd. Unlike last week, this is planned vacation during this time. For Thanksgiving, students will return on Monday, November 26th. We have two new sports this winter. We have girls wrestling and girls swimming. Thanks to our partnership with Fort Leonard Wood, our girls practice in the Davison Fitness Center. The girls wrestling team will host the Ozarks tournament at home on January 24th. Boys wrestling will host their first match at home on January the 16th. Boys and girls basketball teams will play at home for the first time during the 7th annual Route 66 Shootout, Pulaski County, USA, which will be held on Friday, December 14th and Saturday, December the 15th at Waynesville High School. The cost for admission to each day of the shootout is $5 for adults, $4 for students. Athletic passes, senior passes, and school IDs will not be accepted for this special event. And finally, I'd like to pause a moment and say thank you to this great and wonderful community we have, to all of our people in the audience as well. We're very thankful for all the support we receive in our school district, and we wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, and we look forward to seeing you back on Monday. One of the Henry girls had this thought that we were out of school on Monday also. If that's going around, let's go ahead and dispel that rumor. We're at school on Monday, students, especially high school students. You got that, Mr. Lubert? So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Henry. Consent agenda item, bid recommendations, Dr. Berger.
Yes, just the two items this month, and the track north slope I wrote a board memo on.
Financials.
Financials for November 10th, 2018, and MOSIP $35,100,291.70. CDs 10.5, and the general account $2,706,517.42. Payroll account $81,745.20. Total funds $48,388,554.32.
Thank you. Motion to approve the consent agenda items A through H. Do I have a
I'll make that motion.
second of Ms. Crowder? All in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Thank you. Student recognitions, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier this month, the Waynesville JROTC Raider team participated in the 2018 U.S. Army Cadet Command JROTC Raider National Championships in Molina, Georgia. The Waynesville JROTC Raider team placed 6th overall in the mixed team division in a field of 80 schools. Some team highlights include 3rd place in the 5K cross-country run, 6th place in the physical team test, 6th place in the cross-country leader carry, and 6th place in the gauntlet. When your name is called, you'll come forward to receive your certificate, and then if you'll stay up here, we're going to take a group photo. We want to say congratulations on a job well done at the national championships. And if I could get Colonel Williams to assist me with calling names.
Liam Welch. Guess he's not here. Kai Byram. That's you, Byram. Sean Barrios. Alicia Warren. John Cotto. Andrea Trudell. Michaela Brower. Cordelia Peter. Zachary Gorenflow. Ryan Cross. Drayden Rafe.
You got some parents. Tell them to come on up.
Yeah, if parents want to come up here and take a picture, that's
Don't
great.
stand way back, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on up and get a good picture.
You might get Dr. Fulmer in it, and you don't want that.
Several parents want to take pictures.
All right, time's up. I would tell anybody if you get a chance to watch them, they're very, very impressive, and I try to share everything I see on Facebook when what you guys do. So congratulations. All right, CT Spotlight on Education, Mrs. Jacobson.
This one.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. Could our two spotlight educators come on up, please? Tonight I have the privilege to honor Mrs. Susan Westfall and Mrs. Rosemary Barrett for our CTA Spotlight. Mrs. Westfall is in her 21st year of teaching. Partridge has been fortunate to have her all of those 21 years. She began her teaching career in kindergarten and finished her regular classroom position as a 5th grade teacher. This is her first year as a building interventionist, and she now serves grades K through 5 in the area of math support and behavior interventions. Mrs. Westfall is hands-on and is excited about learning, which definitely carries over to the students that she serves. She builds strong relationships, and if you walk by her room during her lunch, she is eating with kids who need a little more small group time. Mrs. Westfall is a team player and offers to help whenever there is a need. She always puts her students first and tries everything she can to help them be successful. This year, a kindergarten group even wrote their numbers down the hallway floor. Talk about conversations around the school. Everyone was wondering who wrote on those floors. When Mrs. Westfall is not with us at Partridge, she is spending time with her 2 grandchildren, Matthew and Mason. I would like to share some quotes from students in her classroom. She explains math to me and breaks down the information so I can understand it. I love Mrs. Westfall. She helps me calm down when I am upset. I can trust her, and she is so sweet. Now, these are quotes that her teammates shared. Mrs. Westfall is passionate about teaching, making each student cherish their time with her. She is an inviting team member with an endless amount of innovative ideas. Mrs. Westfall is the teacher you seek out to gain unique and valuable advice. Susan is very helpful in her role as our math resource teacher. She differentiates her instruction to meet the needs of her students. In fact, she prepared an envelope to go home with one of my students today. I also appreciate her dedication to teamwork and help as our behavior interventionist. And Westfall has a passion for teaching and learning, both inside and outside of the school environment. She goes above and beyond to meet the needs of students and staff and is your go-to gal when you need to find the humor in a situation. So Susan, on behalf of CTA, congratulations. Thank you. Now I would like to honor Miss Rosemary Barrett. This is Mrs. Barrett's 5th year in the district. She began her career with the district as a paraprofessional. This is her 4th year serving as school secretary. This is only Mrs. Barrett's first year at Partridge, but she has learned the ropes fast, all while having a smile on her face. Mrs. Barrett is dedicated to her work and always gives 110% at everything she does. Mrs. Barrett is recently, Partridge staff members shared an object that represents their personal mission. Mrs. Barrett's object was a mirror. The mirror represented self-reflection and always striving to be the best version of herself. Mrs. Barrett truly lives her mission. We are thankful that Mrs. Barrett joined our team this year. She truly is an asset to our students, our parents, and faculty. Rosemary enjoys visiting her son and daughter at college and taking trips with her husband. Fellow staff members shared the following. Mrs. Barrett is extremely hardworking and always has a positive attitude. Rosemary Barrett is a new addition to Partridge staff. She has quickly become an indispensable part of the team. Her energy and cheerfulness is contagious. Mrs. Barrett is a great representation of our school. She is welcoming with her smile and attitude to all staff and students in the school. She goes above and beyond to address all of our needs and concerns. She strives to make connections with all students, which means a lot to parents. I'm happy she is part of our team. Students shared the following. Mrs. Barrett is so nice and greets everyone with a smile. Mrs. Barrett is like a friend to everybody, and she has a big heart. So, Ms. Barrett, on behalf of CTA, congratulations.
Congratulations. Staff recognitions, Transportation Employee of the Month, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is my honor tonight to get to recognize our Transportation Employee of the Month, Jay Austin. She has been with our district for 5 years and serves as a bus aide. Jay is a true professional. She never misses work, and she creates an excellent atmosphere on our buses for our students. Oftentimes she gets compliments about how clean her bus is, and we know that students that are on her bus start their day off on the right foot. So I would like to congratulate Jay for being Transportation Employee of the Month and thank her for her service to our district. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations again on that. 11, discussion. Health Service Report, Mrs. Long.
Mr. President, we just to let you know, we were having some technical difficulties, so if you all could look at your devices, we apologize to the public. Mrs. Long will read that from or watch that from Mrs. Bales' device, so you'll have a very closed circuit.
I will
presentation
summarize
here.
the numbers.
Yeah.
I will not read them all to you. I don't have them memorized, nor can I read my small print. But thank you again for this opportunity to review our health services program and shine a spotlight on the work of our school nurses, many of whom are with us here tonight. Just really quick to go through and review, our program goals are to maintain a healthy learning environment for students and staff members, and provide health education for students and staff members. Basically, it comes down to every healthy child should be in school every day, and that's exactly what our nurses support daily. On the presentation, it lists all of our objectives, but we're going to touch on most of those as we go throughout it as well. If you'll notice in reviewing the staffing plan from last year to this year, we did have an increase. We increased to 2 full-time nurses at East Elementary, and last year there was 1.5 full-time nurses at East Elementary, so that is reflected in the staffing plan. And we currently employ 5 RNs and 8 LPNs. Professional development this year, our nurses went through some workers' compensation reporting training. They went through last year and talked about areas in which they would like some more professional development and training, and identified the opportunity to work with, through COMC, our therapists, on some professional development on helping students with mental illness, as well as identifying common childhood illnesses. They're also partnering with a nurse practitioner student from MSU on her concussion assessment protocol and tool research. So that's exciting work that they're doing. The next slide highlights our district immunization compliance. We are well above the state expectation for immunization compliance. You know, as you can see from the numbers, they range from 98.6 to 99.2% compliant in each of the immunizations. The next slide highlights the changes in special healthcare needs survey. Our nurses gather this data each year. You'll see this slide indicates a lot of increases in several categories, which is reflected in a lot of what our nurses are spending their time on this year. Food allergies almost tripled in the number reported from last year to this year. Increase in all areas, including asthma, ADHD, and a very large increase in daily medications. The nurses in our district conduct health care screenings. They do vision and hearing screenings for grades kindergarten, 1st, 3rd, and 5th. In addition, in 7th grade and 7th grade also conducts a scoliosis exam as well. If you look, the snapshot of a month in the nurse's office, you can see the comparison of numbers. And I think one thing that is extraordinary is if you look at our numbers from September of this year, the school nurses in our district saw almost 8,000 students and only sent home 227. So interesting numbers there. But if you'll also notice, again, from that slide earlier, some of the increase in illnesses have increased the number of medications that they are also passing, so that it's accounting for a large percentage of their time this school year. Do you have any questions?
No, we didn't. Anybody got anything?
I had one more question. Every in the healthcare needs survey, every single item on here, we saw an increase. Is there a reason for that, or just better screening, or?
Those are all medical diagnoses that we're seeing, so there's an increase in those as well. I would say we've talked about that, possibly better screening, better health care. Our students are being seen and diagnosed with these as they go along, but they are trending in higher levels of diagnosis in those areas, yes.
Mr. Schultz, I would like to point out that our head nurse, Wendy Fitch, is in the audience, and so we certainly want to thank her for all the work she does for our district and appreciate her partnering with Mr. Long for our nurses.
Thank you guys very much. And we're going to take a step back in time because I've got great pressure because of the Chiefs football game, and I skipped pick on accident. So you guys want to come on up? It's a combo.
All right, I brought notes this time, and I'm actually using them. So, does this work? It's amazing. Mr. Finger hates when I ad-lib, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of ad-libbing. But we do want to thank the school board and the administration for maybe not knowing that PIC is around, but we do exist, and we do appreciate everything you guys have done for us. It's growing little by little, and we really appreciate it. So all the support you give us, we'll take it every day. So let's see. Last year, I kind of felt like I did an injustice to our building because I kind of talked about the kids and all that. And all you kids that are out there, it's not that we don't love you, but tonight is about my crew, and I think it's the best crew in the district. I said that last year, and I believe it this year. Mr. Finger has helped me out. Again, he does not like when I just go off the rails and do my own thing. So last year, he wrote a little little thing about each person. We don't recognize each person because if without all of us working as one, our building does not function well. So we are, we're a unit, we're a team, and that's just the way it is. So Mr. Whalen, who I'd like to say, I guess we helped get promoted. I mean, we've already got one guy up into the White House, so I feel pretty good about that. I'm hoping maybe I'll get a shot one day. But Mr. Whalen, we did not recognize you last year, and you were absolutely phenomenal in getting our program started. I mean, an absolute rock star. Plus, you hired me, so I just want to make sure that we recognize you. So this is what we had to say about Mr. Whalen. We love how you were always ready to take on any challenge. While we all have to be that way here to be successful, knowing that you have the attitude made it easier for us to do our jobs, psychologically speaking. You are a great leader. We do see the investment you make at a human level every day at PIC, and we hope you are respected as much outside our building as you were within it. You earned it. Our hope is that when we can help you in some way, and you need help from us or want something from us, we're always ready to serve you. You were phenomenal, sir, and we do appreciate it. Miss Witt is our ASP that we've grown this year. So we've added a full-time ASP teacher. Miss Witt, you bring in that Salem thing. She's from Salem, so I don't know. Thought it might fall. I don't know. He wrote it, so talk your finger. I just put it out there. Anyway, we know it's hard to work with 3 cavemen, so we appreciate your adroit sense of humor. I have to look at the dictionary later, and clever observations. Since the ASP program is a standalone program, you are kind of a frontier woman, an outpost, if you will. Yet you retain a sense of dignity and calm, and we do appreciate all you do. Miss Freeman, we got a secretary last year, and we kept her, so that was good. Miss Freeman, I mean, let us see. Yeah, there you go. Miss Freeman, and I think Miss Cogdill, you kind of fit in this too, just so you know, some of this pertains to you, is the Nerve Center, and her office is like Walmart. If you wait there long enough, you'll see everybody. She's in charge of wiping noses, providing creature comforts like cookies and other snacks, handing out cough drops, running various types of essential and emergency interference for us, and most of all, dispensing a sense of warm and gentle nurturing. Like a great case of six-pack abs, she is responsible for transferring power from one portion of our school body to another. There's really nothing she cannot do. She is also responsible for a great swarm of bus drivers and bus helpers descending upon our office to say hello and express how much they miss her. She's our away-from-home mother, and she is deeply appreciated. I've got more. All right, Mr. Eisel. Is Mr. Eisel here? Mr. Eisel is just a phenomenal guy. He's a good guy. Shall I read it? I'm going to read it. I have to do it because it's being recorded. Let's see, Mr. Eisel, we know you don't like attention or compliments. Ironic because you're not here. But so I'm going to keep this short. You're like an old-fashioned candy, hard and brittle on the outside, soft and chewy on the inside. Our kids notice this. They seem to think that you are their grandpa. They call you the self-esteem breaker because you have a unique ability to help them engage in honest self-reflection. Somehow you're able to tell them the truth and make them like it. They all seem to be very fond of you. Is Miss Atkins here? Miss Atkins. There's Miss Atkins. She's got a little baby girl, Chelsea. She just had it in October. Is that correct? Yeah, October. It was like early. Yeah. So Miss Atkins is my para, and I've had a lot of anxieties and things like that the last 6 weeks, but, hopefully, how long do they need to nurture these babies? A couple weeks and then come back in. But Miss Atkins, we think you are smart. We wanted to act like we were smarter than you because we are older, but you kept pointing out key facts that dispelled this notion. You remember things and tell us what we are forgetting. You take care of us and our students in that way. Most of all, we all kind of look up to you because we just instinctively realize that you are an incredibly good person. No one has a higher standing with us than you. And as a person, I appreciate everything you do. She's absolutely phenomenal. Miss Cogdill. Miss Cogdill, I had a lot to write about in last year's, but as everybody remembers, I forgot to write it. But anyway, Miss Cogdill, we love how you want to be here and completely invested in everyone's success. It's amazing how you stay so chill all the time, given that you are the chief student counselor in our program. You always have a kind word for our students and a good attitude, which helps us have one too. We respect you, and we have a lot of respect for you, and we thank you for everything you do each and every day, 'cause it ain't easy. Mr. Hall is not with us. He's doing homebound, but we just appreciate what Mr. Hall does. He seems educated. So when we walk into your room, you always are helping someone, mentoring, or casting light into the darkness. We think you have a great capacity to help young people, and we hope you can continue to do the same for a long time, as our nation still needs you. Sam's a retired Marine. You are the Norman Rockwell example of a great American. And then myself. I did not write this myself. I actually did not think it was long enough, but it is what it is. You are the jingle to everyone's jangle. No one here can do what you do the way you do it. You are indispensable. Most of all, you keep everyone light and make Pick a fabulously fun place to work. As educators, we tend to remember the kids later in life, but as my wife will attest to this, you'll always remember me. So I appreciate that. And then last but not least, Mr. Finger. And everybody always asks me about Mr. Finger. They always, am I a little too loud? I'm a loud person. Oh, sure. Well, this is what I had to say. What can I say about working with this man? Everyone, oh yeah. Well, actually, I'm going to read it the way I wrote it because it's the way it is. So I said, what can I say about working with this dude? Everyone be like, how you work with this guy? The easy answer is because the pay, they pay me, and I don't really have a say in the matter. So they basically said, you're working with this guy, and I was like, that's good. It's a piece of cake. He's wonderful to our students. He's an awesome teammate. He, along with our staff, are always looking at how we can make Pick a better place to learn and work. I have much respect for you. So that's about all I've got. The only other thing, I thought I was up here also to debate why Notre Dame should be number one. But I do believe they should be number two. They're the only team that's got 4 top 25 wins. So I know, it is what it is. So just to end it, I just would like to say, go Irish.
She's grabbing the camera, so I say
Right there,
yes.
Yes.
To the Pick staff. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go back to discussion items. Proposed 2019-2020 school calendar, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. The proposed 1920 calendar is attached for the board as a first reading.
Any comments or questions on that? C, proposed job descriptions, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached job descriptions are presented for your review as a first reading. 3.0.2 Instructional Coach, 4.13.8. It was titled Tool Room Clerk, and we are suggesting a name change to WCC Service Specialist. The administration will request approval at the regular November meeting of the Board of Education.
D, MSBA policy and procedure update, Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are two policies here that we actually had in a previous TABS committee meeting regarding virtual coursework in our district and non-traditional instructional options. The board has provided feedback on that over the last couple of months as we've been talking about that, and we've incorporated much of that in these two policies. In addition, there are regulations and procedures that go along that we're currently updating, but we do have for you ready for first reading now the virtual course and non-traditional instruction options.
Okay, thank you. 12, action items. Fiscal year 18 audit, Dr. Berger.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. And you'll remember Rebecca Frederick from KPM CPAs and Advisors, and she's going to quickly review the FY18 audit for us.
Okay, I noticed you said quickly. So
Take as much time as you'd like.
okay. You should all have a copy of this audit report in front of you if you'd like to follow along. I heard there's a football game on tonight, so I'll try to be a little as fast as possible. Lucky for you, I do talk pretty fast. So we'll start on page 4. And we have audited the district's financial statements as of June 30, 2018. We have also reviewed the district's compliance with state and federal requirements. So I will briefly review those with you also. On page 4 is our independent auditor's report. So the whole reason the district has an audit is for us to express an opinion on the district's financial statements. And the district has received an unmodified or clean opinion, which is the best opinion that you can get. So congratulations. I could probably leave now. That's probably all you need to hear. But I'll go over some highlights. If you turn to page 12, this is the statement of receipts, disbursements, and changes in fund balances for the year ended June 30, 2018. The general fund increased $603,000, leaving it with $16.2 million at year end, which was about a 25% fund balance, which is typically what we recommend a 3-month reserve. The capital projects fund ended with $35.2 million, which was a decrease of about $6.3 million, and that was mainly due to the middle school project. Okay, next we'll go to just turn the page 13. I just wanted to point out the notes to the financial statements. They last about 12 pages. They give more detailed information on the district's significant accounting policies, future debt service, and the types of investments that the district is holding as well. So I do encourage you to read the notes in conjunction with the financial statements because we do issue our opinion on this section as well. Okay, next we'll go to page 41. Page 41 is where the schedule of expenditures of federal awards begin. So Waynesville spends a lot of federal money every year. This is just the first page, so yours actually goes on to 2 pages. If you turn the page, you'll see the district spent about $26.5 million for the year. We're required to test at least 40% of those expenditures. This past year, we just tested impact aid. And the federal government gives us a list of compliance requirements to review, and we have to make sure that the district is complying with those requirements. And I am happy to report that we do not have any compliance findings to report. This report will be sent to the federal government, and the Department of Education will receive this report, and they do review that to see if there are any findings, and then they would follow up on that. Okay, next we'll go to page 49. Page 49 is where the schedule of selected statistics begins. The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education gives us a list every year of different requirements they want us to look at. Typically, they want us to look at attendance, transportation, your free and reduced count, and the district's receiving funding on all of this information that is sent to the state during the year. So they want us to look at your documents and make sure that what you're sending them is accurate. So we do have one finding this year, and I could say that it's minor. If you turn the page, it's regarding publishing your financial statements. There is a state statute that specifically says within 30 days of receipt of the audit report, the district is supposed to publish the financial statements in a local newspaper. The district did not do that this past year. We see this a lot at different districts, so I don't think there's any case for alarm. But it is something that we do have to notify the state, and I've never heard of any follow-up from the state on this, so I don't think there will be any repercussions. But it is something that has to be done. At some point, I know that the district did not have a local newspaper in the county. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but there are other ways to meet that requirement. So, and I've talked to the central office about that, if that's the case. So, and the last thing I'm going to go over is the management letter. I don't know if you have a copy of that with you or not in the bound copy. I think, Dr. Berger, I see a loose, yeah, okay, you might have one. One recommendation is the publication of the financial statements, which I already went over. The second recommendation is just on the new account code structure that is in effect for July 1 of 18. So the district, I'm sure, is already has already started that process to make sure that the accounting software is up to date with those new account codes. It's very important because the ASBR that the district has to submit by August 15th for the 18-19 school year has to have those new codes implemented, or you cannot upload that information. And the ASBR also, you have to be able to automatically upload it. You can't manually enter it anymore. I know in the past the district has manually entered the ASBR, so it's no longer an option. So we just want to make sure that you're aware that of those new changes, and that the district personnel is aware of that, and make sure that they get training during the year. So, does anyone have any questions?
Anything, Mike?
Nope. Okay, well, real quick, I'd just like to say to the Board of Education that everyone we come in contact with during the audit, we talk to a lot of the people who oversee different federal grants. The central office, Dr. Berger and his staff are always very helpful and professional with us during the course of the audit, and we appreciate that. So,
Thank you.
okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you. Thanks.
Have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
Just motion to accept
Yes, sir.
the,
Yes, sir.
I have a motion to accept the 2018 audit.
I'll make that
Kenny
motion.
makes a motion, have a second. Mr. Deering makes a second. All in favor, show of hands. It's 5-0. B, MSBA full maintenance service agreement. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Each year now for many, many years in our school district, we've used the MSBA full maintenance policy function that we're offered through the Missouri School Boards Association. So this would be the annual update we have to it, the motion, and I would make the motion to renew the full maintenance service agreement with MSBA for the annual sum of $4,156.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Dr. Fulmer. A second. All right. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0. C, change order 1. Dr. Berger.
Thank you again, Mr. President. And for the last time for Phase 1, Dawn is here from DHA, but we'll be seeing a lot of Dawn, we think, in the future as we kind of head into Phase 2. But
Okay. Well, this evening I am going to discuss the closeout procedure, or actually it's quite brief, for Phase 1 of construction of the Waynesville Middle School. It's my understanding that you have approved change order number 1. That is
Tonight.
correct?
It is
You will.
pending tonight.
It is pending tonight. Okay.
that's what this action will be.
Okay, that's what this action is then. Change order number 1 had, it actually lowers the overall final construction costs from the bid amount. And let me read these numbers to you because I have not committed them to memory. But if you remember, the Curtis Manus Schulte bid amount for Waynesville Middle School was $18,186,000. The change order number 1 will actually lower that amount to a final construction cost of $17,897,607.92. And that is an overall construction cost, project cost of $150.95 per square foot. I do have more detail if you'd like to know about that, but I'll ask that question. I'll pause right now and ask that question if there's anything having to do with understanding of that essential credit. Okay, so that will be an action item, and I can pause at this moment because Dr. Berger has also asked me to give a brief schedule update. So if you need an action to take action on that.
Mr. President, if that works for you, we'll take action on that. And then I also asked Dawn just to outline the upcoming schedule on what the board will be looking at for consideration for Phase 2.
Okay. So do I have a motion on the change order 1?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Keeley makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Before we vote, though, just so our agenda is correct, that's not Curtis Manus Schultz. That's Curtis Manus Schulte.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a misprint or.
Typo on the agenda, Mr. Keeling, you bet. Duly noted, and we'll make a change on it.
I still make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. Deering makes a second. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, 5-0. All right,
Okay,
go ahead.
okay, thank you. Just very quickly, I'd like to update you a little bit on the schedule for the Phase 2 portion. This November 13th, which is now passed, our firm as well as our consultants reached kind of the 50% mark in the assembly of our construction documents. So that's kind of an interesting milestone for us. Generally, that kicks off where we start to really coordinate a little bit more closely with the school district as well as the city of Waynesville. This past Friday on November 16th, we had a design team meeting with city officials. We discussed our documents with them. Primarily that relates to the utilities associated with the building and to make certain that the city is in agreement with many of our assumptions. We had a good discussion. It lasted about an hour. Mike Keeling was represented at that meeting, so certainly he and I could maybe answer any questions if you have any about some of the items that were discussed. Updating the schedule a little bit further, we anticipate that the advertisement for bid will be executed during the week of February 18th, 2019. We're going to allow a 4-week bidding period, and bids will be due on March 26th, 2019. We anticipate the award of construction to the lowest and most qualified bidder on or about April the 15th, 2019. We anticipate starting construction with, actually it will be demolition first, but it is included in the overall construction documents. Start of construction will be coordinated with school district representatives, but we anticipate that it will be sometime mid-May of 2019. And the one to really look forward to is the completion of construction, which is scheduled for July 13th, 2020. Can I answer any questions about the schedule? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Don.
The MSBA policy and procedure update, Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. These were two other policies we had held out of our early batch to attach some prices in the special education policy as well as some detail on instructional interventions. They're now ready for your consideration. I received no questions since the first reading, so I'd make a motion, or I would actually ask that you would approve MSBA policies and procedures as presented.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Keeling, do I have a second on that? Okay. Mr. Kreider seconds. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0. E, proposed course description book changes for 2019-2020. Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attached are the recommended changes to the Waynesville High School course description book submitted by Mr. Lubert, high school principal, and the Waynesville Career Center course description book submitted by Dr. Pattison, director of the Waynesville Career Center. If approved, these changes will become effective with the 1920 school year and utilized in the upcoming scheduling process. Administration requests approval of the proposed course description book changes as presented.
I have a motion. Ms. Kreider makes the motion. Do I have a second on that? Mr. Deering. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0, thank you. F, board candidate filing dates. Dr. Henry.
It is that time of year again. Board candidate filing dates for the April 2nd, 2019 general and municipal election are Tuesday, December 11th, 2018 through Tuesday, January 15th, 2019. Candidates may file at the superintendent's office during the regular hours of 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Filing will not occur on the following holidays when the school district's offices are closed: December 24th, 25th, 26th, the 31st, and January 1st of 2019. Extreme inclement weather might also necessitate unplanned office closures. We sure hope not. As per statute, office hours will be extended till 5 p.m. on January 15th, 2019. The deadline for filing will be January 15th, 2019. Butch O'Reilly and Charles Quinn currently hold board member positions that will be open.
Okay. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Dr. Ford makes a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Keeling, or, sorry, Mr. Tearing makes a second. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Seal by literacy, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Missouri Seal of Biliteracy and Distinguished Missouri Seal of Biliteracy is awarded to graduating high school students in districts with a DESE-approved program who have demonstrated achievement in English, a language other than English, as well as socio-cultural competence. Administration requests approval of the Seal of Biliteracy proposal as presented.
Any questions or comments on that? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Crider makes a motion. Do I have a second? Dr. Fulmer makes a second. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Thank you. Proposed job descriptions, second reading, Mrs. Bells. Oh, I'm sorry. 8. My line got too long there. 2019-2020 school calendar opening date, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration is requesting approval of a proposed opening date more than 10 days before the first Monday in September for the 2019-2020 school year.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Kenny makes a motion. I have a second. Ms. Kreider makes a second. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Okay, now proposed job description, second reading, Ms. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached job descriptions are presented for second reading. The administration requests approval of the job descriptions as presented. 3.2.1 high school head coach, 3.2.2 high school assistant coach, 3.2.3 middle school head coach, 3.2.4 middle school assistant coach, and 3.2.5 intern coach.
Have any questions or comments? And do I have a motion? Mr. Drain makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, show of hands. 5-0. All right. ESIP waive first reading, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attached are the 2018-19 ESIP. That's the Early Separation Incentive Plan for certified and classified staff. Administration requests approval of the ESIP for certified and classified staff with first reading being waived. But I would like to state that we have been discussing this in study session and periodically throughout the course of this year. So it's not something just brand new this evening.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Dr. Foreman makes a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Green seconds. All in favor, show of hands. 4 against, 1. Motion carries. K, district surplus, Dr. Berger.
Yes, another round of surplus related to Waynesville Middle School. This is the kitchen items we've kind of salvaged and took what we wanted, took a little to the new, or in anticipation of the new concession stand at Slaughter. Took at least one oven to the new kitchen, but the rest we are anxious to get rid of. It'll be not the last list coming, but it is the most current. So,
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a second. Dan makes a second. All in favor, show of hands. 5-0. Before we move to closed session, I just want to say we lost a huge supporter of the Waynesville School District last week, and I ask you to keep the Ransdell family in your thoughts and prayers. With that, find my list to read here. Closed session, closed record, closed vote is allowed by RSMO 610.021, Section 1, legal action, Section 3, hiring, firing, disciplining, and promoting of employees, Section 6, scholastic probation, expulsion, or graduation of identifiable individuals, and Section 13, individual personal records, performance ratings. Motion to enter into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Second, Dan. All in favor, show of hands. Oh, roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. We are in closed session. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving.